the California to Florida disasters. I know that there's a big contrast here between what we're seeing in California. Why is it that Florida is able to have such efficient, rapid response to hurricanes, and California seems it can't get out of its way when it comes to dealing with natural disasters?
Here's the difference. In Florida, we know that it's our responsibility to take the lead. So as an example, I had wildfires when I was governor. I had 4 hurricanes, and we didn't say, oh, let's wait and see if the federal government shows up and see if they'll help us solve this problem. We went and solved the problem on our own, realizing the federal government can provide some financial resources, but they're not going to lead this. They're not going to lead us out of this problem. So if you look at North Carolina and look at California, their governors have thought, oh, the federal government's going to do all this. We don't have to do it. So you look at California. I don't know why why they have wildfires. One, they didn't have enough water. Whose responsibility is that? The governors. Number two, the reservoirs were not full. Whose responsibility is that? The governor, right? So what you have to do is, one, you have to take responsibility to prevent it. So in Florida, we've had some small wildfires, but we actually do prescribed burning in our forests, right, to make sure we don't have a situation where we can get wildfires. And then on top of that, when we do, which we had twice down in the Everglades when I was governor, we went and put them out quickly. We put all resources, state and local resources. We didn't wait for the federal government to show up. In California, they think somebody else is going to solve their problems. No one's solving your problem. You got to do this yourself. The federal government can provide you some financial resources, but they don't have a whole bunch of first responders they can send to solve your problem.
I think that is so well put. What is your reaction to the president who wants to kind of change up FEMA, who wants to change the way that FEMA is done? As someone who's dealt with FEMA and been in the weeds, what is the better way that we could run the Federal Emergency Management Authority or agency?
Well, number one, we need to make sure everybody understands the first responsibility is local, then state, and then the federal government can provide some resources. So I'll give you an example. When I became governor, I had no idea why it was like this. The federal government paid 75% and even more for debris pickup in our state when we had a hurricane. I never understood why they did that, but they did. But what that allowed is a whole bunch of fraud. So it took me 6 years. I finally got a bill to crack down on that. I finally got it passed in December because there was billions of dollars of fraud. I probably saved the federal government over $1 billion of fraud just in one hurricane, Hurricane Irma. So you could take that for each piece of this. The states need to be responsible. The local governments need to be responsible. Quit relying on the federal government to solve all your problems. Otherwise, why do we have governors? Why do we have mayors? So I think what President Trump's in a position to say, wait a minute, the federal government can't do everything. They can do some things, but they can't do everything. And the federal government is just not a piggy bank for everything that the local or state government wants done. He knows we have $36 trillion worth of debt. We're running $2 trillion deficits. We've got to get our fiscal house in order. And part of it is stop wasting money. So there's a better way to do, after disasters, a better way for the federal government to be a partner. Because what they do is, it's just like the bridge in Baltimore. The federal government is paying 100% of that. There was a bridge built at the exact same time in Florida. Why don't we have the problem? Because when we built the bridge, we built barriers so if a ship hit the edge, it didn't knock down the whole bridge. But in Baltimore, they didn't want to do that for some reason. And now the federal government somehow became, you as a taxpayer in any other state, you're now responsible for that, building 100% building that bridge in Baltimore. That makes no sense to the rest of the country. Why isn't Baltimore responsible first? Why isn't Maryland responsible first?
What a wise point.